Hello boys and girls. Today I'm going to be telling you some good tips in Drive. Now I've seen some of you all comment a lot about the game, like it's kind of confusing. What cars do you use? What do you do? And stuff like that. So I'm going to be sharing you some tips and tricks and some things that you can use. Also, if my voice sounds weird, I don't know, it's kind of goofy to be honest. So anyways, without further ado, let's get right into it, boys. So let's start off with the beginner tier. Now if you have been playing this game for more than a beginner, then just skip ahead a bit. I recommend you skip ahead. So as a beginner, you'd mostly get 3 cars. From those 3 cars you have to choose one. Now you would get the Tiger, the Rotary, or the Blip, JTI. Now from this, you should actually pick Rotary. Now this car has decent downforce and it's also really one of the best ones there, and also weighs less. Like it's about the same as a Tiger, but it's like really good. So I'd suggest you to pick that. And moving on to the next tier. Now moving on to when you actually grind a bit and you're able to afford a car, that's at least above 1 cash. So I'm talking about this tier, the tier between 200,000 cash to a million. Now there are actually a lot of cards that you can kinda buy. But I think if you want to have some quick acceleration and maybe don't spend a ton of cash, then I think wide body cruiser is going to be your best shot. It's decent handling, nice horsepower, and top speed pretty good. And if you have a bit more money to spend, I'd say you to go with Al Dente. It's really fast, like really fast, and I couldn't recommend it more. And if you're wondering about the a bit high tier, from 1 million to I guess 3 million, and from these cars I'd say you should to pick Python GVR or 290 RST. I'd go with Python GVR because firstly it has 2100 horsepower and it has decent top speed, like 561 kilometers, and it also has a really good handling. It's really good. And now I'm going to be talking about the cars that are like above high tier, and this is only for the dealership, by the way. This is the cars that you can actually grind for. The first contender is actually Bastion. Now it's really good. Now it's got one of the best acceleration. It's one of those cars that you don't even need to boost and it goes fast, like absolutely fast. It's also really good handling plus speed. That's why I recommend it. And it also looks intimidating. Like, bro. Now another car that you might consider buying is the Yasko. Now the Yasko is one of the best cars in the game that you can buy in the dealership. Now this car is good because it's got handling, top speed. It might not be the acceleration king. It's like Blade, but Blade but better in a way. But overall, this is a really good car. But you might need a bit of skill to actually tune in with the Yasko. If you don't really have that much skill or have much that time, then go with Vanaheim. It's really fast, like really fast. It also has one of the best downforce, if not the best, and pair that with the best handling, and that's really good. There's also Blade once again, and Blade's more of a handling and handling only. So if you play maps like Race World USA, you should probably buy Blade. Now moving on to daily cars, and so for the daily cars, it's going to be Zephyr Evo, Hooligan Nimbus, and Hooligan. I think these 3 cars are the best for daily cars, and I don't think there's any car that's like really good in the daily cars. I mean, there are definitely, but I think I'll consider these 3 as the main all-rounders. And now moving on to event cars. Now for event cars, there's not much cars that I can tell you. It's either the cars are mid or good. I don't think any event cars are bad particularly. So for event cars, if you have Goliath, that's really good. That's the top speed king. And there's also Marco Evo, which is an all-rounder. Like it's got decent handling, like really good handling, really good acceleration, speed. And if you ever get the money to buy one, I'd recommend you buy it. It is that clutch. It also makes you look like a sweat. Now moving on to premium cars, and there's not much premium cars there, and this one's going to be pretty easy, but two words: Bullet GTR. Now this car should be renamed Bully GTR, cause it's literally a bully. Like, this car is one of the best all-rounders and my favorite cars. Not only is it fast, its acceleration is also really good, top speed really good, handling really good, downforce really good, and everything you expect this car is really good at. Even the brakes and like just everything. It's good in drag strips and expressway, Gatling guns, even circuit races. I mean, it's not the best for it, but it's really good. Like, it can battle blade, and there's also Tyrant Evo for top speed, and some other cars like Visor, which is one of the best cars I've used too. So overall, just buy Bullet and then enjoy your life. Now I'm going to be telling you some tricks, Now these tricks are common tricks, which you probably might learn. And now I'm going to be telling you how to get some acceleration speed, Now you might have seen some pro players getting a lot of speed and getting ahead of you in drag strips. And the thing that they do is basically just pay attention here. I'm going to accelerate. And you can see that when I'm 126 or 120, you can see the gear changes. Now with that in mind, you have to figure out what car gear you have. If you're using gear 10, then go for gear 2. Calculate to gear 2. If you're using anything below gear 8, just stick to gear 1. And from gear 1, which is 1 to 120, you have to find a sweet spot in that. Basically, what that means is that most people, they accelerate and then go, which means you're wasting some of that nitrous. Now if you find this sweet spot, now you can accelerate. Let's say my sweet spot is about 75, around that. And when I reach 75 kilometers, I boost. Now that means that if I accelerate now, I'm actually going to be a bit faster, because this acceleration has helped me reach a better top speed. Let's say if there's a car in front of you and it's going at 540 kilometers and you're going at 560, you're going to beat him. So I hope that explained it a bit. You can try it out. It actually works a lot. Now moving on to tuning. Now this is one thing that people really get confused on, and like, what am I supposed to do with this? Don't worry, it's as simple as butter. Now if you want your car to be aesthetically really good, just use the default one. Like, look at this. Now this is the default ride height. Now if you prioritize acceleration, just crank the front one up and you're actually going to accelerate a bit more, This means that when you use that trick, which by the way is a trick, not a glitch, you can get a bit more acceleration. With this you're maximizing acceleration, but at the cost of like aesthetics, like this looks, I mean, it's not that bad, but it's still, but if you notice the front bit, it's a bit high, which might look kinda bad. Now if you crank up the rear height, now that allows your car to turn and brake at the same time. Now it's a thing that you might notice when you're drifting and stuff, and there's actual signs to it. Like when you're turning, your car actually stops because your wheels turning sideways. You might turn and slow down. It's not really that useful, but it's just good to know, And the offset is just for cars that are too slim, Think of it as the dragster, Or if there's any car, like for example, let's say this truck right here, it's a bit too slim, And when you're turning violently with this truck, you might fall sideways. For that you can change the offset, which means the wheels are a bit outside and the wheels are a bit outward, which means that you can turn a bit better without like actually falling sideways. And the front one is just kinda useless, to be honest. Now moving on to two things that are not really crucial. Chamber. Now chamber, I have to say, is for purely aesthetics, okay? Don't expect it to, just transform your car into some Goliath and then go super fast like broom broom broom. No, it's purely for aesthetics. Now moving on to something that most people really just don't pay a lot of attention to, it's spring. Now you might have it something like this because you might have seen some people tell you just crank it up high, don't fall for propaganda. Now stiffness, if you're wondering, makes your car really stiff. What that means is that your car is going to be kissing the floor, or the roads, or the water if you're in the water or something. Now stiffness means you have more handling, but then again when you have stiffness low, it's actually kind of different than actually having it high. Now this is a bit of a scientific thing. If your car is more kissing the floor, that means the air goes above it, and that means your car is more sticking the floor, that means more downforce. Stay in school, kids. And damping is just springs. If you have the damping really low, your car is going to bounce. Now, not like a bouncy ball, but just bounce in general. Like, let me just show you a bit of an example. When I don't have damping really low versus, like, look at how much I'm shaking when I have damping really low. And damping is just basically just the strings of the car. Like if you have damping really low, it's going to shake like this. And versus, yeah, so you can kind of see less shaking and it's more stable. However, if you have damping really high and you're going on a straight line, you might have a slight acceleration loss. So maybe crank that low when you're going in a straight line. And the final two, and top speed modifier. And you might be wondering,
What is this supposed to mean?
well, silly, the angle literally means angle. Like how much your car's wheels turn. If you have them at 50, the car's actually going to turn a bit more. So this is turning at 50, you can see how much my wheels turn. And this is 25, you can see my wheels turn a bit less. Which also means that when you're turning, you actually lose a lot of speed. And that's basically it. And top speed modifier is just your car being at the top speed and being stable. Now you should probably never put this in 11 nor 100 or 1 exactly. Now 50 is the perfect balance between stable and turning. So basically the more closer you are to 1, the more stable your car is, and that means that you lose control. Now the more closer you are to 11.11, that means the more less you are stable and more control. Now you need to put it at 50.50 for the perfect balance between control and stability. Unless if you're a professional or you have experience driving, racing, you should put it at 75. That means you're going to have a higher top speed when you're turning and you're not going to lose some speed. So yeah, that's about it. See ya.